All right, welcome back, everyone. I am back again with one another interesting conversation. This time, the conversation is very special because I have the guest from a company that is very close to my heart, company where I worked and learned a lot from Google. Today, we have Grace with us. Grace currently works at Google Cloud. Prior to this, she has worked at Checkout. Prior to that, she's been working in AWS and many other technology company. Grace is from Hong Kong, and she has majored in business from the University of Hong Kong Science and Technology. Welcome, Grace.
Thank you, thank you. Very nice to meet you here, Raghav. This is my first time, and I feel like we just sparkled instantly. You
Yeah.
invited me for a podcast, like, okay, let's do it. I'm very
know.
excited.
I know. So, how are you liking the event? How do you find Dubai?
I love it. I think like we went through a apocalypse this week, like it's flooded everywhere. But
Yeah.
I think like what excites me the most is you see like how many opportunities are here because
Sure.
Dubai is probably like similar to Hong Kong, but in different geographical way. It connects like Europe and Asia, whereas like Hong Kong is like the hub between like China and the rest of Asia, right? So
right.
I find similarities, but I also find like different opportunities that's happening here.
Right. So, I know you work in the cloud and the AI space. What do you think? What is your take? Where is the world heading? Because there are all kind of crazy predictions. People say AI is going to take jobs away. People say AI may probably reduce the opportunities. What is your take on that?
Yeah, so I think like I came from a business background. I knew nothing about technology, but the reason why I hopped on cloud I was doing an intern at AWS. I was a marketing intern. I also organize events like this.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is the hype about, right?
Yeah.
So when I prepared the materials, I went to study a lot of like case references. Then I feel like by studying the case references, then you realize like like all this Airbnb, Netflix, Spotify, like this kind of like world famous startup, they also use cloud technology.
Right.
And I like fell into this like rabbit hole and I studied, and I feel like at one point it really inspired me. I told my boss, wow, this is such a lucrative business model. Like,
Yeah,
think
it is.
of it. Like, I'm like, this is so smart. And that was the point that I jumped to be a sales,
Sure.
and I changed companies in between. Then cloud has been here for more than 10 years already,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
So it has become like commodity in some sense, but everyone knows what cloud is.
Yeah.
So I need the excitement in my life. I want to learn something new.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it's like AI, there's so many myths about AI. There's so many different takes about AI. But I think like for these few years, we've seen like tons of use cases, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think like I find the commonalities between these two technology is it's very scalable. It's very easy to adapt into different use cases. And
Sure.
these are the kind of use cases that is actually like revolutionizing or innovating with
Sure.
the world right now.
Sure. So, tell us a little more for all of our audience. Tell us a little more about what is the scene of technology, artificial intelligence. What is the scene for Web3, crypto in Hong Kong as a market, both in terms of talent, in terms of the growth, in terms of funding, all of that. I mean, where do you see Hong Kong growing, and where do you see the future?
So Hong Kong is known as traditionally like a financial hub, So when all this like tech trends that's happening, I would say the most relatable is definitely the Web3 and the crypto space, because there's also like many exchanges actually set up office started in Hong Kong, because it's like with all the tax system, with the geographical advantage that I mentioned earlier. So that is the first use case that I see it's adapted very well in Hong Kong.
Awesome.
Whereas like on the tax and also like Hong Kong, there's many financial talents. So
Sure.
I do see like all these exchanges, they don't have problem in hiring in Hong Kong, right? Many people jump from the traditional finance side to the exchange side.
Sure.
So that is my biggest observation for the past few years. Whereas like now we're talking about Web3, we're talking about AI, something more niche, something might need more, like technical know-how. And that is the point that I see things change, but not in a bad way. But I see things that is actually diversifying around
Sure.
Asia. Because Hong Kong is a perfect place to host like Token 24/9 events like this. Because
Yeah.
you can meet a lot of people.
Sure.
So I do see like sales offices and businesses. They'll still start in Hong Kong, but like it's a Web3 world now. They can look for like developers, technical talents from
Yeah.
all over the world. So this is my take on how
Awesome.
where Hong Kong is at right now.
Awesome. Grace, you have been one of the phenomenal guests who just jumped on the podcast. Did not have any background,
Yeah,
just came in and we
yeah.
had a conversation. I loved our conversation. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Very exciting.
Yeah, take
Have
care.
a good week.